What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song Day Rock 2000. Today is March 10th, so happy Tuesday, or as LeBron James says, always going, it's Taco Tuesday. And guys, we've got another band here for you today. But first, before we introduce the band and we go into our full-on conversation, let me go through my shameless plugs. So, of course, the shameless plug section would be where we would put all our advertising, which, guys, if you're listening and you know a company that would like to advertise with us, please send them my way to kevin@mysongday.com because, well, that's my email address. And, well, we could definitely use a little bit of moolah for this, but yeah, I'm still doing all this shit. So follow us on our Facebook page where you're going to get any kind of content that you want notified. So like the 30-second song of the day preview, any YouTube video, any podcast episode that comes out, you'll get that on Facebook. Twitter, same thing. It's a lot easier to talk to us on Twitter as well with your tweets. Instagram is our biggest platform. You get all that stuff as well. Plus, we ask you guys questions. We really connect with you guys on Instagram, along with the fact that we are able to do things such as our IGTV channel, which is like a behind the scenes look at what we're doing here at My Song Day Rock 2000 today, and the live streams every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. Those have been getting real freaking fun as well. We got a lot of great people on those, and I cannot wait for you all to join the live stream as well. Plus, always mark in your calendar right now, April 9th, 2020 live stream. We're doing a very special one on that Thursday because one of our great followers, Maddie, is turning 21 that day, and we are going to be celebrating it with a very special live stream. So, oh yeah. Follow us on TikTok as well. We do some fun stuff there. Well, that's just what I got for TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because we do all the album reviews there. We do a lot of other videos there as well. And you can watch the podcast video on YouTube that you're watching right now. Or if you're watching it, so watching it right now. Chord Progression Podcast here. We're on our My Song Day Rock 2008 YouTube page. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Mess that up a little bit. And then enable our Amazon Alexa skill. Due to the fact that that's you can hear the whole entire Song of the Day feature. I mean, this Song of the Day feature, this is where you can rediscover all those old bands you used to love, discover the new bands you used to love, broaden your horizons with rock and metal music and all their subgenres. And with our Small Band Saturday feature, what you can do with that is something like, hey, you know, I found this new band that's going to be gigantic coming up in the 2020s. And I've heard him here first at My Song Day Rock 2000 today. So that's the perfect place for you guys to come. And that's it for shameless plugs. Now, let's get into the interview with this band. They're from New Jersey. However, they're huge in Pennsylvania right now. About a week ago, they messaged me about being on the podcast, and I'm like, oh, yes. Well, I mean, not that sinister. I was just like, yeah, because, well, I kind of get crazy like that sometimes. But I listen to their stuff. I'm like, my God, these guys have to be on the podcast. And they've played with bands like Attila, Chelsea Grin, Escape the Fate, Cattle Decapitation. They played with Danny Warstop of Asking Alexandria, The Word Alive, Drowning Pool. And I mean, like, the fact of the matter is from this conversation, one thing I can tell you is this band is ready to pop, and I cannot wait to see them live. So please enjoy my conversation with these incredible rockers that have been around for about 5.5 years. The band is called Generation Underground. Here with me is Mike and Josh from the band. So guys, get ready for this great conversation. Let's go! Well, folks, here we have the guys from Generation Underground from Pennsylvania, if I'm correct. Is that right?
Actually, New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Shit. I can't believe I already blew that, like, the first 10 seconds of the podcast episode, and I completely blow it already. Well, that's going to make for another great blooper reel episode for me. So let's start out with the fact that I'm not sure how many people of our audience or our My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Day audience or Chord Progression Podcast audience really know you guys. So let's start out with some introductions so that everyone knows who you guys are.
Sure. I'm Mike Florentine. I play guitar and I sing in Generation Underground.
I'm Josh Polius. I play lead guitar in Generation Underground. Also backing vocals whenever I feel like
it. Whenever you feel like it. Is it whenever you feel like it or whenever the song calls for it?
Yeah, pretty much whenever the song calls.
Not every song calls for it, but like a good amount of them do.
Yeah, because I was listening to a good amount of them today, and I could tell there's like, yeah, there's some of them that definitely do call for it. So you could easily hear it in there. But let's start with the fact that, I've seen some stuff from you guys so far. I've taken a look at, who you guys have shared the stage with in the past, who you guys are going to be sharing the stage with. So let's start with the fact that, how'd you guys come up with this idea to start a band, and how did this all form?
I mean, I started this in October 2014, so we're coming up on 5 years and some change now. I mean, and it kind of started as just like a hobby at first of like, oh yeah, like, we like playing heavy music, or we like heavy music in general. And then eventually morph into like, let's go give us a shot. And then we've always taken it serious since day one, but like, it's kind of hard to do it seriously when you're 15 years old, trying to figure it out as you're going. So, and there's no real blueprint to this stuff. So you kind of like figuring out on the fly and a lot of trial and error. But like, a lot of people be like, oh, I'm ashamed of my past. I'm really not. Like, everything that happened, good or bad, we've learned what to do going forward. So
yeah, for sure. Everything's a learning experience from this.
It's not exactly what I envisioned my life being at age 10, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love this more than life itself.
So you've been pretty much in this whole entire idea where you want to be in a band since you were 10 years old?
In 2012, I had the opportunity to meet Clown from Slipknot, and he was like, do you want to stand side stage for Slipknot? It will change your life. And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And I did. And at that moment I realized, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to play music for my life. This is what I want to do. So
no wonder why I was looking through like kind of like who you guys were like inspired by, and I think it was on your Spotify bio, and now it makes sense why Slipknot is on there.
You can draw so much from Slipknot just from like an individual song, because they have a little bit of everything for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? Because want to know like what your journey was a little bit into it, especially like when you got to that moment like with Mike where standing side stage for Slipknot, like this is the moment that he knew he wanted to start a band and make music his career in life. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it's pretty much like a similar story, but mine was more like practice oriented. So, I would always play my guitar, and I always just wanted to be on a stage, playing for people. And yeah, pretty much went from there. I tried to branch out as much as I can. I used to post a lot of videos online, and then Mike saw me, and it just pretty much the rest is history.
And Instagram.
Yeah.
And Instagram videos, how I found them.
Yeah, social media is a big thing too,
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much where I live with this whole entire thing is on social media, because that's where the attention is. That's where people are going to look. I mean, anytime someone opens up their phone, the likelihood that they're going to be on some sort of social media app, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now, I mean, I feel old saying this, but the young kids getting on TikTok. I mean, it's if you put your stuff out there, there's a good chance that someone's going to end up seeing it at some point. And I mean, look at what happened with you, Josh. It was you put out all these different videos of you playing. I mean, were you doing cover songs, or were you just trying to like playing your own stuff, or what was going on there?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of covers of like Parkway Drive and like shit like that, Slipknot, the whole thing.
Animals as Leaders.
Yeah, all that shit.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Especially once I heard Parkway Drive, I'm like, ooh, he's got something there, because I still really want to see him live, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to, because they're not going to be coming anywhere near me until like the end of August. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, they're great live, and now they have a whole new like pyro set up there, and they blow fire. It's turning into like a Rammstein kind of level of stage production.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're saying that, I mean, you've had to have seen them at least a couple of times, right? Or maybe once at least, at least something.
I think I've seen them like 5 or 6 times. They're unbelievable live. My only complaint is that their set list is getting a little stale nowadays. It's like the same set list over and over again. And I want to hear more of the deeper stuff, and they just don't really seem that interested in it anymore, which kind of frustrates me, because I've gotten more into their catalog over the years, and I think their catalog is better than what people give them credit for.
Understandably so. I mean, I've seen that happen with one of my favorite bands. Well, probably the band I've seen the most, which is Rise Against, where it's they keep it fresh with a bunch of different songs, but they don't really play a lot of the older stuff off their first 3 albums anymore. I mean, they'll put in something there from Revolutions Per Minute, but like one song over there. If they do anything from Siren Songs, The Counterculture, it'll be Give It All. They'll do Swing Life Away for sure, but they really won't touch anything outside of that. But then, I mean, afterwards, I mean, from the stuff from The Witness on, for them, it's pretty much fair game on what they're going to play. But but like just kind of hearing like, the same songs over and over and over again. Don't get me wrong. I still love going to see them. I mean, if I get a chance to go see them live, I'm going to, but it's something where I can totally understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, no, I've seen them, I think 2 or 3 times. Like I saw them twice on the Deftones tour a couple of years ago, and that shit was crazy. I saw Deftones in Austin, Texas, and that was something else. Those people in Texas know how to mosh. They are insane down there.
I get that chance with Deftones in August, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, they're amazing, Deftones.
But I want to jump back to Josh as well, just because with you, Mike, when you said like that Slipknot concert was that concert that really did it for you. Josh, did you go to any of those shows when you were younger before really jumping into Generation Underground that really got you into like, this is definitely what I want?
No, not really. I didn't go to a lot of shows. I actually just used to watch a lot of videos and then like just try to mimic the shit. And yeah, I didn't really get on stage until I got with Mike. That was the first time I really got on stage at the Brighton Bar, July 1st.
2016. Yeah. And we were under a different name. We took the name from a Damage Plan song, which was Vinnie Paul and Dimebag's side project before he died. And then we just put a K in front of it because, we liked Korn, so why not?
So it was Cold Blood, but that was with a K. Is that right?
Blooded with a K. For the first about 3.5 years, and then there ended up being a rapper with the same name, and it just turned into just too much confusion for everybody trying to find our material. So we just said,
"One sec, guys.
Again, no way.
1 sec, guys. Can you repeat that? Just because it sounded like something really weird happened, where all of a sudden, like the audio just kind of cut out for a little bit."
Okay. We were called Cold Blooded from 2014 till the middle of 2017, and then we ran into some issues with this rapper who went under the same name, but it was Cold-Blooded, and he was like a rapper like that hung around like Little Peep and Ghostman and company, but like our music had nothing to do with each other. But the problem is he had so many songs out, and we didn't have that many out, that our music just got lost in the shuffle with his stuff. So it just made the most sense to change the name and pick a name that no one had before. And then the funny thing is, when we changed the name, we eventually found out that someone else used to go under the name Generation Underground, but they're no longer around. So it's whatever. It's impossible to be 100% original nowadays, but, A for effort.
Well, with the fact that, if you search on the internet, you're going to find something where someone used whatever idea or whatever name you came up with at one point, whatever it might be, but it just depends on how you twist it and make it your own. Because, take a look at some of these bands, like some bands, I'm trying to think of some names where it's like, they've used names off of just like some literary character or something, and all of a sudden, boom, it just pops off.
Right.
So I got to go back, because you're talking about, you played that first show on, what was it, July 1st, 2016? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where did you guys play that, and what was it like playing that first show? Because I'm always curious to hear what happened at some people's first show, because that's something you're never going to forget.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Brighton Bar.
So we opened up their show. I'm looking at the set list from that night right now. It's on the wall. So our set list for that night was Bulls on Parade for Rage Against the Machine, Chop Suey from System of a Down, One Step Closer from Linkin Park, from Godsmack. Our debut song ever, was our first time we ever played it, was called Slaves of the System, which has Franz from Attila on it nowadays. Last Resort from Papa Roach, Break Stuff from Limp Bizkit, and Bodies from Drowning Pool. This is when we started implementing our own originals, but like that was the first time we ever played an original at any show before. So, and I would say the highlight of that show was during Bulls on Parade, when the song comes back around and then Zach goes, Bulls on Parade. And I was on this little like riser thing on the stage, and I jumped, and I was wearing my Adidas Superstars, and they got caught on like the lip, and I fucking just face planted right on the stage. It was just cut up my whole leg, destroyed up there, hobbling around. And after the song, I was like, what are you gonna do? I was like, finish the fucking show. Like, what do you think we're gonna do? Like, the show doesn't end because of that. Let me see if I can find the picture of it.
Oh yeah, if you can find a picture of it, definitely send it. Because one thing, that's kind of like the similar like what happened with Dave Grohl when he had to jump off the stage and he broke his ankle, and then all of a sudden came back like 20 minutes later with someone like literally holding his ankle in place. He's like, I'm still gonna finish this fucking show. So kind of taking that kind of energy too. Still the fans must have absolutely loved it. Oh, can you pick it up? Oh my god.
Shout out to my best friend Brandon. He's a photographer and he goes to school for film. And that's out of all the pictures he's ever taken, that was hands down the most timed picture ever that it got me mid-fall. So
It worked out perfect.
it worked out perfectly. But no, like it was a pretty memorable first show. It wasn't my first show. It was my I think it was my 5th show ever as being the frontman. Because I actually started off playing drums in the early days of the band because we couldn't find a drummer. So I played drums. And then the same kid, the pitcher, he actually ended up being our original vocalist. And then it kind of came to the point where like he wasn't that interested. So we switched roles. And I went to the vocals and he just left. But, you know, we still remained best friends since that day. So nothing really changed. And then we went through a shoestring of drummers, bass players, guitar players, the whole 9 yards. So almost as many members as like Cradle of Filth at this fucking point. It's ridiculous.
But then again, when it comes down here, you're trying to find that formula and that chemistry between you guys that's going to work out. I mean, you've got to end up finding the correct members because you're not going to be able to get something like Alter Bridge got where all of a sudden you had 3 guys from Creed basically come over. And all they needed was a vocalist. And all of a sudden here comes Miles Kennedy and they've been playing together for the past 16, 17 years without any breaks. Or you could get something like where, you know, you're going to have, like you said, with Cradle of Filth, like all of a sudden, you know, lineup changes here and there and everywhere. But it all depends upon when you find that correct chemistry between everybody.
Right.
And it's not like we wanted to ever like push anybody out, but like I always tell everyone that this is my guitar teacher, Bill always says, it's like, you don't fire people, fire themselves. And most of the time, people that left the band were either A, they couldn't handle it, B, they didn't want to dedicate time to it, or C, they just didn't show up. So, you know, it's not much to ask for people just to show up and do their part and learn the songs, but apparently to a lot of people, it's too much to ask. So that's why they're not around anymore. And they always come back around and be like, yo, could I come back? And I'm like, well, you see, I don't know what's going to really change from now and then from what happened in the past. And everyone's just like, well, you know, you're playing with Chelsea Grin now. It's like, yeah, because we earned that and you didn't earn that. So why the fuck would I let you play with Chelsea Grin with us? Why would I do that to any of us? Why would I give you a free pass?
That makes total sense too, just because I've seen that happen with other people too, and have talked with other people about that, where when it comes to, you know, creating music, when it comes to being a band, it's a huge time commitment. It takes a lot of passion to do something like that, especially when you're writing music, because you're pouring your heart and soul in that music as well. So if there's people that, you know, not everyone's going to want to have the 100% commitment that you have. You know, people might, it's like, oh, well, I want to do this, but I also, you know, maybe they want to shoot out, play soccer, play football, or, you know, go to college or something. I mean, it could be anything. Or if they're, older, like you get later in life, all of a sudden it's like you have band members, all of a sudden they have kids and they want to do the dad thing or do the mom thing. I mean, who knows? But it comes to a point where it's just, you got to make sure that the people that you're playing with are the people that really want to be there.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, at this point, we've heard every excuse in the book of why people have not showed up, between college presentations, falling off skateboards, car accident, mother getting in a car accident, which is kind of the same thing, or failing a test, being in Canada, choosing to go party, decide to not show up, or going paintballing, going out to lunch, going out to dinner, going out with the girlfriend or the boyfriend, or traveling somewhere, or just being nowhere to be found, ShopRite training, and, you know, the list just goes on. It's enough to make your head fucking spin in a circle. Literally, it's ridiculous.
I'm so glad you went through that whole entire list. So that the ShopRite training has to be the funniest one, though.
That shit drove me up a wall. I mean, a wall. I was out of my mind up there. And and the kid who didn't show up, I just told him off in front of everybody on stage. He didn't show up. He was just like, I got ShopRite training. I'm like, I understand you have ShopRite training in the morning, but why can't you come play the show at 9:00 at night and then go home right afterwards? Like, you can do both. And he's just like, I'm like, you're fired. I'm like, so, you know, he really wonders why he's not in this band anymore. He really wonders. I gave that kid way too many chances. So,
yikes. But again, it's totally understandable. With the fact of the matter is, you're trying to make sure that this is your baby. So as you want to make sure that whoever's in there is going to be fully invested in it. And it makes total sense.
Yeah, and you would think that people like everyone has the same kind of theory in their head. They're like, "Oh, I could go do my own fucking solo project and this and that." And then we're like, "Okay, go right ahead." We challenge everybody, and nobody ever goes anywhere with any of their projects. It's always the same. Well, we never finished anything, and we need this and we need that. I'm like, see, that's what happens when you try running the band and try to like figure this out on your own. They're like, well, now I understand all the work you do. I'm like, who do you think's going to do all this stuff? I'm like, someone's got to do the job, we have a manager, but like the manager can only do what the manager can do. Like, who's going to, update the website at 4 a.m. and then the Twitter page and then the Instagram feed and then edit the vlogs and the documentary and then edit the songs and then figure out the tour dates and the routing and the hotels. Like, someone's got to sit there and lose sleep and, have a panic attack at 4 a.m. to figure this out. Someone's got to do it. So.
Oh, I understand that completely, especially with what I'm doing here, because I'm still the only one that does anything that I'm doing right now. And it's like, I want to bring people on too, but it's just who's going to be able to actually handle it. And I haven't really found anybody yet. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But now when it comes to like playing shows now, I mean, again, from between your first show and now, has it gotten easier? And when you're playing with these bigger bands as well, like when you're playing with Chelsea Grin, has it gotten easier and a little bit more comfortable for you guys?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a lot more comfortable, but like there's definitely pressure of like playing with a big name like Chelsea Grin. Like when we played with Chelsea Grin last year, we actually met like the whole band before the show, and Steven from Chelsea Grin was like, "Oh yeah, so what stage you guys on?" We're like, "Oh, we're on that." All right, and watched our set by the bar. And me and him are diehard Chelsea Grin fans, so we're sitting there going like, if we fuck this up, we're just gonna live in infamy for the rest of my life. So, and we ended up crushing it. So, you know what? It was a cool little added pressure to have there.
I just go up there and just do my fucking thing. It's just like nothing really.
Second nature at this point for both of us.
See, I love that attitude from you, Josh, where it's you're going up there and all that matters is what you're going to do. And it's kind of like, you're playing up there and it's like no one else is there. It's just like another day at the office where you're just going to end up enjoying it, have fun and doing what you're going to do, regardless of, if you're playing with, smaller bands that are trying to get to the point where you guys are right now, or if you guys are opening for bands like, like Chelsea Grin, or all of a sudden, you never know, maybe later on this year, all of a sudden you're opening for a band like, I got to say it because I love band. If you're opening for a band like Ice Nine Kills.
We've been all from play with Ice Nine Kills before, but we chose to play with Escape to Fate instead, which wasn't the wrong decision because it was actually the release show for the Silver Creeper offered to play in Easton, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Tom Taylor. He's our great agent out there we work with. But we ended up doing Escape to Fate, and Escape to Fate, and we ended up making $300 in merch that night, and we just sold tickets through the roof, and we had an unbelievable set with 7 or the 8 biggest local bands in the entire like tri-state Pennsylvania area. And the funny thing is, Nico from Kill the Blonde, actually his other band, One Day Waiting or One Day Without, they were on the show too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a huge show. It was us, Escape the Fate, Monument of Memory, Across the White Water Towers band called Skyline Heights drove in from South Carolina to the show. Yeah, that shit was wild. And then Vitruvia, Seeking Out September, One Day Waiting, or no, not One Day, no, One Time Without. That's what they're called. And then us.
One Time Without.
And then I feel like I'm missing somebody else, but I could be wrong. But like that was like the lineup right there.
That's an insane lineup that you guys are going with too for that, and you definitely didn't make the wrong choices with playing with Escape the Fate as well. Because I recently saw them. What was it about? 2 weeks ago at this point now, and I mean they still put on one hell of a show no matter what.
Was it the Falling in Reverse tour?
Yeah, it was like, because I remember it was the day beforehand they had to cancel it because Ronnie Radke got sick. I'm like, oh fuck no, please don't cancel again, just because I was supposed to go to their tour with Crown the Empire at the end of November, but they canceled that because I forgot what member of the band. I think it might have been the bassist or the guitarist.
Our player, his wife had cancer. I think she's still battling it, but I think it's like in remission now. Yeah, I think that's the case too. And he didn't end up going on this tour at this time because he was still caring for her. So of course everyone was happy that Falling in Reverse was still playing. And then when I saw it the first time, I'm like, oh, they're canceling the show. Oh, that's why.
Okay, can't be mad about that one. And then I saw them this time, but of course, Escape the Fate was the one that was right before them, and I forgot what song they played, but my God, we just had this like a wall of death that was throughout the whole entire crowd. And the only other time we got that was with Popular Monster. So I'm like, holy shit, this is great.
Yeah. So we played with Escape the Fate twice, and then this August will be 3 times.
Have you had any time to really connect with the band, like on a personal level, or just hang out with the band in between the shows?
Meet and greet when we played with them on the show we just told you about. We just kind of snuck our way into the meet and greet. Like, hi, we're opening up the show. Can we get a picture? And they were Craig Mabbitt, TJ Bell were extremely nice. So, and then Kevin Thrasher is kind of, he is what he is. And don't get me started by fucking Ortiz. I do not get me started about that guy.
I won't, because I don't think we need to go on a full-on rant on that kind of a situation right now, especially if Craig was one of those guys who was just like completely nice and like, oh, hell yeah, come on, take a fucking picture with us. Come on.
Yeah, no, him and TJ Bell were absolutely fucking sweethearts. They were great to us.
That is fantastic. So what other bands have, because I looked at kind of like the bands that you also shared the stage with. Like, so I got to ask you guys, what other bands have you really shared the stage with, and what were some of those memories and some of those like shows that just stood out like none other?
Drowning Pool was a fun one.
Yeah, I got to go on stage with Drowning Pool and sing Bodies with them.
Yeah, we're really close to those.
Really? No fucking way.
I ran their Instagram for 6 years.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I used to run their Instagram up until about a few months ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Literally just started out as just an idea of like, yeah, screw it, I'll help them out. And then they found out about it like 2 years later. And ever since then, we've been just hanging out on the bus, taking pictures. I've been on stage with them twice to do Bodies now, which is just, it's pretty surreal, because that's like one of the first songs that ever got me into this kind of music. And it's like, I'm up here with this fucking band singing this song. Like, I know Dave's not here, but like, it's still Drowning Pool.
Right.
Yeah, I still remember hearing that song for the first time too, because that was like this is back in like 2004. I mean, the song had been out by then, but like 2004, 2005, when WWE was trying to do their ECW like startup again, and that was, of course, Bodies is going to be the theme song for the show. And I remember watching that as a kid. I'm just like, ah!
Oh yeah.
But okay, I gotta ask you this, Mike. How did you get to run their Instagram account for 6 years? Like, I gotta hear the story behind this, because it's insane.
I was in Cleveland with my best friend Brandon. We're just like, let's make an Instagram for Drowning Pool. We're like, okay. And kind of a side note with this, when we did it, we made one for Drowning Pool and we made one for Five Finger Death Punch. The Five Finger Death Punch one made it to like 1,900 followers, and then 11/7 stepped in. They're like, you can't do this. This is not legal, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, whatever, fuck yourself. And the next day they shut me down. No joke. They're over 1 million followers now on Instagram. And I was the one that got the ball rolling with that whole thing with Five Finger Death Punch.
Whoa.
All those guys, like, I know Ivan pretty well. I know Jason Hook, and I know Chris Cale very well. So like they weren't even that mad. They were just kind of like, oh, you kind of got the ball rolling for us on Instagram. And then they just took it and they just ran with it.
Dang. So now I got to ask you this question after that for both of you guys, because with the new Five Finger Death Punch album that came out the previous week, what did you guys think of F8?
I didn't hear too much of it just yet. I mean, I'm such a big fan of their first 3 albums, with The Way of the Fist, War is the Answer, American Capitalist. I never go wrong with those 3 albums. I like their other stuff too, but those 3 hold a special place with me.
Josh, what about you?
I didn't get to listen to it. I haven't really tapped into it. You know, I saw them.
We saw them in December with Bad Wolves, 3 Days Grace and Fire from the Gods, and they were unbelievable. Five Finger Death Punch.
All right, because I think I did my full-on review of the album. I gave it a 6 out of 10 overall, and compared it to like their last like 2 albums from well, I can't remember the name of the 6th one, but then the one that came out 2 years ago with Injustice for None. Definitely, it's a step in back in that direction of what they had in their first 3 albums. Okay. And kind of hearing like looking at the lyrics as well for a good number of the songs, like Ivan Moody really went into further detail about battling addiction. Mm-hmm. And when he went through those kind of songs, just the emotion in the vocals was a lot more present, and it made the songs a lot more dynamic. So I really liked when they went in that kind of a direction.
Yeah, I mean, because like those first couple records, especially the first one, are just it's just brutal lyrics, especially the Devil's Own about his father, and then you get Ashes, and then Salvation, and then Meet the Monster, and then War is the Answer, and No One Gets Left Behind, and Hard to See, American Capitalist. I think one of my favorite Five Finger songs of all time is 100 Ways to Hate. There's 100 fucking things that I hate about you. Like, yeah, just you can't go wrong with that line. So
No, you can't.
and we rock Under and Over pretty often live, every so often. So we love that song. It's just such a good cover, and like it's old enough to where people know it, but it's still kind of fresh enough people's minds where it's not too old at the same time.
Makes sense. Can we expect Generation Underground to open for Five Finger Death Punch at some point?
I would say there's a very good chance that happened, just because we know we're very friendly with their camp, and our manager is very good friends with them. So the funny about our manager's band that he used to manage, called Fire from the Gods, they are currently managed by Zoltan Bathory of Five Finger Death Punch. So,
really?
Yeah. So we have an in with that already. So just kind of work your magic, Dave Dickens. Work your magic.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing Fire from the Gods for the first time when they're on tour with when Hollywood Undead and Bad Wolves are going to be in America, because they're coming to Milwaukee, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I got to go to that show. I bought my ticket like 2 days before they actually were released.
Doesn't Milwaukee have the venue called like Eagles Ballroom with the haunted swimming pool and shit?
Oh yeah. Okay. That's us.
How is it? I've always been curious about that.
I absolutely love going to that place for shows. The only quip I have with it is in the summer, it just gets hotter than all hell in there just because there's no AC. But they've got 3 different like main stages. They've got the Eagles Ballroom, which is, it's just a giant ballroom. I mean, just giant stage. I'm trying to think what bands I've seen up there already. I mean, I've seen Rise Against up there. I saw Killswitch Engage up there. I saw Breaking Benjamin up there. I saw Evanescence up there. I mean, the list, Chevelle, the list can just keep going on and on and on. But then they have this middle tier one, which they call the Eagles Club, which is, it's basically just like a club show. I mean, It's just smaller, more condensed in, and I've had some fun with shows there. I mean, I saw Alter Bridge there this year already. Last year, I saw Gwar there. I saw Anti-Flag and Pennywise. I saw Motionless in White down there for just an absolute ridiculous show. Then they've got this basement level too, which is kind of more like a Miami club scene, as they kind of put it. And I've seen Devil Wears Prada down there. I saw Tremonti down there. That's where I saw Ice Nine Kills, and I wish they would have had a bigger venue for them because so many people were trying to get into that show. But just that small condensed venue was perfect for it. And yes, there is the haunted swimming pool, and I still have not seen the haunted swimming pool, and I'm really pissed about it because I know where it is, but I just can't get to it.
Do they like kind of rope it off from the public?
Well, what actually happened was the building that they're in. I mean, there's like a group called the Eagles. Like, they used to have it. It was like some like philanthropy kind of group, and they used to do a lot of things there. Like, they had like a full on gym there. Now, this is back in like, between 1920s to the 1980s, before the group that has it now bought it. Like, they would gym, like they have a full on gym there, like the full on swimming pool. I was trying to think what else they had there. I mean, they had the ballroom for a lot of events. They'd host boxing matches there. Like, it was just like this whole entire venue. But then when it went into disrepair kind of thing, and then the group that owns it now transitioned to like a whole entire like concert venue, they kept the pool up because, well, I mean, who wouldn't? And there's so many artists that, like, when they come in, they'll actually have them like sign the side of the pool.
Yeah, that's something we definitely got to do in the near future. So if you're a Milwaukee concert promoter or a band and you want to make that happen, please shoot us an email at Generation Underground Band. We will do this immediately.
Oh, hell yeah. If you guys show up there, I will fucking be there. Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
The closest to Milwaukee we've played is either, I think it's more west, Josh, Syracuse, New York, or Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Probably Lancaster, PA. We have not really went further west than Lancaster, so we're getting towards Milwaukee. It's gonna take a little bit longer though. But I mean, we're going west this summer. We're just not going Milwaukee west. We're going to Cali. June 26th, we're playing with Jack Russell from Great White at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and then we are currently trying to add some more dates out there, up and down the strip, and then we're trying to do Vegas. We're trying to do Arizona. So
you guys are going to play the Whiskey A Go-Go?
Yeah, June 26th.
Holy shit. How did you guys manage that?
A mutual friend named John that I met through my uncle, and we just kind of went back and forth. When I literally shot them a Facebook message, and they offered a show, and we signed the contract, and here we are. So we are so excited. You know what? Chelsea Grin's nice, Attila's nice, The Word Alive's nice, Danny Warsnop's nice, but like Los Angeles at the Whiskey A Go Go, where Guns N' Roses started, and Motley Crue, I think Van Halen started there too. Like, it's just insanity. And I know Linkin Park was there, and just, oh my God, it's just insane.
Just the history that's behind that, within that building as well. I mean, there's places all over the country too that you're going to be able to go to where it's going to have as much history as the Whiskey A Go Go, but there's very few that stack up to that kind of a venue.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I wish like CBGB's was still around in New York, but like we have the Stone Pony in New Jersey, which, you know, Bruce Springsteen started at, and Bon Jovi and company. So we started there too, actually, ironically.
Yeah, so you can kind of put that on too. And if you get a chance, like if you come around the Midwest too, if you go up to Minneapolis, if you can play First Ave, go for it, because that's where Prince started and basically came into fruition.
Wow.
Nice.
And that's one venue where even when I lived up there, I never got a chance to go there, which still pisses me off to this day.
Well, maybe we can make Generation Underground go to First Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah. So
we got to make it happen.
Is that a Viking jersey in the background?
Yeah, it is.
My buddy from Connecticut's a diehard Minnesota Viking fan. He will never shut up. He tells me that Case Keenum is the greatest quarterback ever, and I play him to death. I'm like, you're so wrong, David, but whatever makes you happen. He's not even on the team anymore.
He was good for that 1 year that we needed him. And now, I mean, I'm still on the train where I've said this so many times. Like, if there's a way we can get rid of Kirk Cousins and bring back Teddy Bridgewater somehow, it's just fitting perfectly. But that's a pipe dream for me.
It's a good pipe dream to have, though.
It is. So getting back into your music, because taking a look at your catalog as well, because I listened to some of it, and one thing that really stuck out to me was the vocal style that you guys went with, because it wasn't really like anything I'd really heard a lot of in the past. So can you kind of go through how you came up with your vocal style for Generation Underground?
I mean, like, it's been a very trial and error kind of thing with me, and people hear a lot more of us when our new album drops. And if you're listening to this, I'll drop the little teaser right now. Our new EP comes out in 6 weeks on 4/20/20. It's a surprise. No one really knows this, but we've been kind of leaking it a little bit here and there, more and more. But like, you know, I draw a lot from a lot of different vocalists, like especially from like Corey Taylor, Jonathan Davis, Chester Bennington, R.I.P., Phil Boston from Whitechapel, Mitch Lucker, like a you know, Pete from Chevelle, Franz from Attila, just a lot of random stuff, like a lot of, you know, like we're into a lot of stuff. So like, it's nice to pull different things from bands that sing a lot, bands that scream a lot, bands that do like the Whitechapel show where it's, you know, it's gutturals, but it's rapped, and then you got like super fast raps from like Linkin Park and stuff. So like we try to like mesh a lot of different things into it. So like we don't like to get put in a box, and I definitely don't put my vocals into a box either. So we're not afraid to try anything. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to try anything. You know, I might piss off our fan base. I was like, but our fan base is built on diversity. It's been the thing since day one. So, you know, that's the point. I think we're just not afraid to try anything. And if someone says, you know, someone challenges, like, oh, you guys never done this. All right, cool. Let's go try it. Let's go see it. Let's make this sound like Generation Underground, but in a different light.
Yeah, because when I heard your vocals on your song, just the letter Y, like that was one thing that really just, I had to say just the letter Y, because if I said Y, people might be looking like, okay, Generation Underground, okay, WHY. No, it's just the letter Y.
It's so simple. It's a song that we literally wrote with our touring drummer, Matt Sussler, and it's just simple ass riff, and just, you know, like we noticed when we put out Greedy Bitch that people like the energy in the song, and we didn't really have, it's not that we didn't have it in the other 3 tunes we had on our first EP, but it was more of like, all right, so people like them, we'll give them what they want. And the song's written about a friend of mine who used to be in the band, and, you know, he used to question everything we used to do about, you know, why do we wake up? Why is the sun red? Why do we eat? Why have a dog? Like just stupid shit. And the crazy thing is, for a band as serious as we are, and as stupid as that song is, it's got 65,000 views between Instagram and YouTube. It just won a fucking award for an Academia Music Award for the best rock song of February 2020. And You know what? It's our most popular song, and I never really intended for it to be that way, but I'm certainly not complaining when you're in a playlist with fucking Elton John and Ozzy with that song. There's really nothing to complain about.
No, you can't complain about that either. But it always seems like some of the songs that you never intended to be the most popular song. And this goes for a lot of bands as well. It's just you maybe not intended for that one to be the most popular one, or like you didn't think that was going to be, but it's just the one that people latch on to and just stick with like incredibly hard. It's just like, we're not losing this one. Like, this is the one that we resonate the best with. And it seems like you kind of hit some with that with Why.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about the record is the song Donald's Pain, the acoustic song, that ended up being our second most streamed song on Spotify. And we never put it as a single, never put it as a video. We've only played it twice live ever. And we kind of were just like, we like the song, but like, I never realized that the fucking public loved the damn song. I had no idea that had that kind of pull on Spotify. So you know what? Like I tell everyone to say that, I'm like, we make what we like, but it's up to the audience to decide what we're going to play. Because we know what songs work and what songs don't work. So like most of our sets involve us playing the letter Y, Slave System, Nightmare Never Ending, Broken Life. And then, we've been sprinkling some of the newer tunes and stuff. So it just really comes down to the show. Because like the heavier shows will play a heavier set, obviously, to kind of cater to the crowd. And then lighter, obviously play a little bit lighter of a set. So, but there's always a little bit of both in every set, no matter who we're playing with.
Oh, that's understandable too, because you can do a set that's going to be basically billed as it's going to be a softer set. It's not going to be for a crowd that's going to go on full on mosh pit and just try and destroy each other. However, you're going to get the people that still are going to be a part of that to show up at those shows. Whether say you're doing like a full on acoustic set, because that's you may have felt like it. I mean, you've seen a lot of bands do it. You're going to still get those fans that really just love all the heavy stuff too to show up for those.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, like, we've done so many different styles of shows here. We've done shows with rappers, just full on just rap shows, and we're the only band on the show, and people fucking love it. People hate it sometimes. We've done death metal. Like we did Summer Slaughter last year for 4 dates, and that was nowhere near our angle of music. But like we're on tour with Cattle Decapitation, Carnifex, Lorna Shore before the whole CJ thing happened, and then Necrogoblicon, The Faceless, and Brand of Sacrifice. And we're just this band that's like got some metalcore influences, but not anything with death metal or deathcore. And you know what the crazy thing is? By the time we finished the 4 dates, they loved us. Like Cattle Decapitation's tour manager ended up buying merch off us. They liked us so much.
Yes, that's how you know you got something going on.
So like we, by the third day we played Providence, Rhode Island was the best day at all 4 of them. We had people were just going fucking ballistic for us. And like we knew it was kind of a rowdy crowd, and then we busted out You Only Live Once from Suicide Silence, and those people lost their shit. And then we did that into Why, and people went even crazier. So like it was such a great 2-song ending of the show. Like people didn't know what to do. So we haven't been back to Rhode Island since then, but like Rhode Island better live up to the hype next time.
I'll say you guys are going to have to go back to Rhode Island if that's the case. I mean, it's like, well, if that's what you guys are going to do, what you got for us next time?
Exactly. I mean, and like the sad thing is we've learned like Pennsylvania gives more shit about this band than New Jersey does. And it's not even like, it has nothing to do with New Jersey. It's the scene of music in New Jersey is the issue. It's the people would rather kind of do like the Kevin Hart crab mentality of like if I can't get out of the scene, then I'm not letting them get out of the scene. And I gotta tell you, there's too many bands in the scene that are full of themselves and that they're above everybody, and they're really fucking not. And they're just kind of at the point where they're like, I hate to say they're scared to play with us, but they are scared to play us. They're like, oh, I don't want to book a show with Generation Ground. I was like, why? Because we're gonna upsell you guys and upstage you guys on stage. Like that's not my problem. And like, you know what? Like if no one wants to fly the flag for New Jersey, then we're going to take it and we're going to run with it. So,
I mean, if Pennsylvania is really shown to be, a majority of your fan base, then it's again, the free market's going to tell you who likes your stuff, who doesn't like your stuff, where your fan base is, where it isn't. And if a lot of people in Pennsylvania and like even, if people in Rhode Island are going to go absolutely crazy for it, the base that you have, and you can build off of it as you move further west, trying to see where your influence can go, whether it's going to, play at the Whiskey A Go Go in LA because you know with the history behind the venue that there's going to be a certain type of crowd that's going to go to that venue. Then you could go to a place like Texas where, you know, people are, it's Texas. They're going to go fucking crazy. And then you can go to, and then you can go to like Florida where, I mean, Florida's got its own fucking set of rules from every band I've talked to.
Florida's like Texas. They have like, it's like their own state. They shouldn't even be part of like the 50 states. It's like their own rules and regulations. You can find, I think if you Google your birthday, you can find a arrest record for something in Florida. And, you know, people try to pay for Wendy's with alligators, and they're just fucking insane down there. Very nice weather, but like they're just nuts down there.
Oh, I looked that up too, and mine was Florida man arrested for mowing lawn while naked.
Nice.
Totally believe that. So
it's still my favorite. I'm like, okay, I gotta look this. I'm like, okay, here we go. Oh, okay. But then, you know, it's another different group of fans that you're going to see between, you know, like fans out west, fans of Texas, fans in the Northeast, fans in Florida, is the fans here in the Midwest where I'm at too, just because, again, it's everyone's got a different mentality, different vibe, just in a regional sense. But it's when it comes down to like who likes the music, it just depends upon, you know, where that crowd is. And I know within the Midwest, the crowd isn't as vocal as some of the other crowds that really are like with certain music around here, like with hip hop and rap, like with pop and country is starting to get even more popular here. But when it comes to stuff like, you know, rock, hard rock, punk rock, metalcore, it's not as vocal, but all of a sudden, you know, okay, you know, like bands are coming to play shows and they're the consistent sellouts. And the consistent bands, especially like with the ones at the rave where they're putting the bands in the basement, they're consistently like, okay, we have to move them up to a bigger venue because tickets sold out and people are still trying to buy them.
Who are like the big bands in Milwaukee? Because I know like Minneapolis has like, fucking God, what are they called? I'm looking at the flyer right now. They are called, son of a bitch. By the Thousand. I know they're from Minnesota. But like, who the hell is from Milwaukee, like band wise?
Not really many of them. I mean, we pretty much get a lot of those big, like the bands just to come to us. I mean, like with Milwaukee, like some of the bigger bands are kind of like the older bands that were coming around like back in like the 70s, 80s, like Steve Miller Band was from Milwaukee, but there's one band that I've known about for, I want to say 4 years, and they're starting to pick up some traction. They're a band called These Fading Visions. Only reason I know about them is because their lead singer is really good friends with ex-girlfriend of mine. So I went to one of their shows and I'm like, holy shit, like these guys can fucking play. And I keep seeing them pop up all the time around here. Like, oh, we're playing here in Milwaukee. We're playing here in Milwaukee. And I want to go to one of their shows, but it's like every single time I'm trying to go to one of their shows, either I'm going to a different show already that I've already committed to, or it's like a Tuesday night. They're playing at 10 o'clock. I'm like, well, shit, I still got to go to my full-time job. I got to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. And
right.
It's like, can you guys play on a weekend that I'm not going to a show?
Kevin, do you mind stopping for a second? Because my laptop is almost dead. I'm going to get the charger. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, I can if you can go get the charger too, I mean, I can kind of edit this out too.
8% I know is going to die quickly. So let me go just keep that alive just so I don't want to just die in the middle of our interview. Yeah,
totally understandable. I mean, when it comes to the fans listening to this too, I mean, I could keep us in here just to kind of keep bantering on just for the fun of it. But
right.
It's going to be something where it's like, oh, you know, it's going to be like 5 minutes, like a couple minutes for us. For them, it's going to be, you know, a couple of seconds.
Right.
So I just got to mark down. That's around, shoot, where's that fucking pen? And paper. Wrong notebook. Wrong fucking notebook. Alrighty, so I was at about 44 minutes. I gotta look at that. I was gonna say, tell me when it's good, but I'll know when it's good when you sit back down.
Yeah, he'll be back very soon.
I'm gonna start singing just like, he'll be back soon. But my voice is horrible for this stuff, so as you can tell, this is why I podcast and don't sing.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if I did, it'd be bad. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like, it would not go well.
No practice.
I mean, there's been times where it's like I've like gone to the bars with a couple of my friends, and all of a sudden they're at the bars they're playing as much pop as possible just to get people on the dance floor. It's like, oh, start dancing and everything, and there I am in the middle of the crowd just trying to all of a sudden the chorus hits. If I know it, I'm just gonna try and do unclean vocals the whole entire way just to see the reaction of people. My favorite one to always do with that is like all of a sudden, like I've heard this a couple of times where all of a sudden people play like at the bars like Katy Perry's Firework, and I'm just like, I'm ready for the chorus, like, and I just go, I try and get as deep in his like throaty as possible, but if I do it like 3 times, all of a sudden I'm like, shoot, I do not have the voice for this.
Voice a shot. I'm done.
It's worth it. It's fun. I mean, then I always talk to people like, hey, can we get a mosh pit going in the bar? But
people aren't usually down for that, huh?
No, not really. Well, mostly you get girls that are just kind of like sitting there just like, well, we're trying to get the guys to look at us. It's like, they're probably not going to want to get, a shoulder check and all of a sudden fall flat on their ass.
Exactly.
Me, on the other hand, though, if someone does that, I mean, I kind of just expect it.
Right. Gosh, and that's how it goes.
Because that literally happened to me when I for the Word Alive, because I jumped in the first like 30 seconds I was in the pit. Dude that's probably weighed about 260, 270 just decks me. I fall flat on my ass, right on my shoulder, just scrape it off. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I felt I was fine though, but then I almost broke my nose during Popular Monster by Falling Reverse because someone did a flying elbow straight to my face.
Dang.
I saw Mice and Men last year on tour of Beartooth, and I was in the pit for OG Loco, and they fucking played the Waka Flocka part of the I go hard in the motherfucking paint. And I, not jokingly, I looked right, the strobe light hit, I looked left, and some guy went, hi-ya, and just punched me straight in the fucking eye. Got like this like 2-inch fucking gash under my eyebrow I've had for the last 8 months of my life because of some fucking meathead in the pit. Unbelievable.
Dude,
bleeding for hours straight.
That happened to me with Motionless in White. It was the band before then that actually had happened with. Right at the end, after the burial set, at the end of it, I got knocked down in the pit, was getting picked up, and some dude tripped and went head first into my eye and cut me right below the eyebrow, but right above the eye. I think it was like a gash from like here to here. And I mean, I tell this story all the time too, because the guy's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, just get me the fuck out of here, just because I don't want to bleed over everybody.
Remember you got a bloody lip, Josh, at Deftones? Yeah, Deftones 2016, you got a bloody lip. I was like, well, this is going to be the last concert Josh ever goes to with me.
All right, so Josh, I got to hear this story about this bloody lip now.
Yeah, pretty much I was in the pit, and I got lost, and I got smacked by this heavy set dude. And then I was like, yeah, my lip's busted. I can't do anything about it now.
I think our best 2 stories ever at concerts was I went to go see Knock Loose with Casey Strain last year at Starland, and my buddy Alex got hit by a crowd surfer. This was the gash that was under his eye.
Oh!
Took 9 stitches and a phone call to my nurse friend Lindsay to find out that kid was in a world of fucking trouble really quickly. It was bad. And then,
my God!
Which story was better, Josh? Code Orange or Avenged Sevenfold?
Yeah, Code Orange.
So Code Orange, we are at Union Transfer Affiliates. This is a stacked lineup. Code Orange, Ghostmane before he had a band behind him, Vane, and Twitching Tongues. So we get there for Ghostmane. He's fucking shredding up there. Code Orange comes on, and the bass player, I'm looking at my phone, and I'm talking to this girl I was talking with at the time. I looked up, and the bass player stage dived at both of us. It's on the whatever, like that big hardcore page on YouTube is like I hate something 7-8 or something like that. We're on there like in the corner, and the bass player stage dives at me and Josh, both of us. I mean, they didn't hit us, but like we picked them back up and surfed them right back onto the stage.
You guys huge, by the way.
And then Avenged Sevenfold 2017. It was right after Sinister Gates gave birth to his first kid. So they did a free show in Camden, New Jersey, right outside of Philly. And so it was me, Josh, and our friend Justin. And our friend Justin is a little bit of, how do I put it? Wild.
Yeah, just a little wild.
Just a little wild. With
wild and like unhinged a little bit.
Molly, crack, heroin, or not heroin, but like Molly, crack, a lot of alcohol. He's fucking, if he hasn't tried it, he's willing to try it. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
One of those. So we're watching Avenged Sevenfold, and we're hanging out, and he's been drinking a little bit, and he decided to take a piss at the seat, and it splashed on this lady in front of us. No joke. She turned around and she 5-starred him across the face. Just went, and then she started wailing on him, and we were like so caught off guard we didn't know what to do. And
pissed on the lady.
Yeah, just literally pissed on a lady, and they just threw him right out of the section. And they just run around trying to find us. Yeah, that kid he's quite the mess, Justin Kennedy.
What the hell?
Pissed on a lady at Avenged Sevenfold. We got stage dived out at Code Orange. My buddy Alex got 9 stitches at Knock Loose. I should have got stitches out of Mice and Men. Like, yeah, we've had the fair share of injuries. I mean, we haven't been too injured on stage before. I mean, you want to tell Kevin the story how you fucked your knee up, and the other time how you peaked on stage 3 times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on, I gotta hear this shit.
Yeah, I kind of, if I get like uneasy sometimes if I eat too much before a show,
or it's like really hot in the room, or the lights are very strong,
bro, that shit's coming right out.
Yak 3 times during the same set, and then we did our DVD shoot back in 2018. He yacked on our fucking friend at the time, yacked straight on him, and it fucking froze because it was so cold outside. So everyone was slipping on the throw when we were loading out that night. and there was that time we played in Poughkeepsie, New York, and you were jumping and you jumped down and you missed a step and you fucked up your knee and you couldn't play during the end of Y, so you sat on the ground and kind of rolled around like Gigi Allen kind of style. But
I literally just laid there and just played. I didn't feel like standing.
I think my worst injury was the fall at Josh's first show. Within Josh's first song, fucking busting ass on stage. And I think number 2 was 2 and 3, or no, number 2 was at the same show. This place you play in Easton, Pennsylvania called One Center Square. I did like a pull up on like the water main pipe thing, and when I came down, I landed on a fucking strobe light. So I sprained my ankle. We hadn't even started the first song. I already sprained my ankle. Mm-hmm. We get to Y, it's the last song of the set, and I stage dive. I get out in the crowd, and I was like, "Come on, show me what you got, Pennsylvania!" And Pennsylvania absolutely kicked my ass in the pit out there, and I wasn't expecting that. I fell within like 10 seconds. I slipped on some water, and they got me back up, and they just knocked me straight over again. And I was just like, you know what? I handed my dad the mic. I was like, I'm going back on stage. I'm like, they can figure this out in the crowd. So,
I mean, if you're gonna tell the crowd to be like, show me what you got, I'll go all Rick and Morty. Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. They're gonna show up. I mean, that's like a call.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tall order, but like Pennsylvania lived up to it 100%. So. Pennsylvania's been great to us over the years. Like the great thing about Pennsylvania is like we'll go to like a show and people will be like, "Yo, it's Generation Underground," and we're like, "This is unbelievable. We're getting noticed in public." I saw Chelsea Grin last year at Born of Osiris in Philly, and people walk up to like, "Dude, I know you. You're in that band." I was like, "What am I, MGK or G-Eazy?" Like, no, you're in that band. You're Generation Underground. I was like, "Yes." I'm like, they're like, "You look like Eminem." I was like, "I've heard that one too." And the dude from Sum 41 and Chester Bennington and the Buffy the Vampire Slayer guy and Jared Leto. I'm like, I've heard, if anyone's got bleached hair, I've heard it before. So I don't take offense. I think it's actually kind of funny at this point. So they're like, Guy Fieri. I was like, fuck off. I'm like, enough.
Like that's like the one where it's like, okay, that you've gone too far with that one. But all those other ones, it's like, it's gonna be kind of interesting as it keeps going on. It's like, oh, hey, you look like, okay, it's like you have a list of like 10 people. It's like, okay, which of these 10 people do I look like? And if they come up with a new one, you're like, oh shit, that's a new one. All right.
Yeah, that's how it was when I heard Jared Leto. Like, you look like Jared Leto. I was like, I don't know who Jared Leto is. I Googled. I was just like, oh. I was like, okay. I'm like, I see it. I'm like, I definitely really see it. So. Yeah,
that's especially when he went with the bleach blonde hair look. That was like, shoot, God, when was that? That was, fuck, I should know this, but I don't even have no idea when he did that.
I thought that was like the late 90s is what I'm thinking, or like David Silveria when he was in Chord, and then Fred Durst when he had hair, and then Fred Durst. Everybody gives Fred Durst a bad rap, but my favorite concert of all time was Limp Bizkit, actually. I saw them a year and a half ago. I got absolutely demolished in the pit, bleeding out of my eye and concussion and my neck and my ribs and my back. I go get an x-ray and my knee and my hip. It was insane. And the crowd, some people up there and living it up, trying to get 300 people on stage, which is not a good idea. And then break stuff drops and then just all hell broke loose.
I'm hoping to see Limp Bizkit because they're going to be at Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. It's like northwestern Wisconsin. This is like middle of July. And my buddy who I had on the podcast last week, we went through the 5 Year Death Punch album for 30 minutes. And when he's going up there. He's like, yeah, you got to come up some. We look at the lineup too, just to just confirm it. And he's telling me that Limp Bizkit was one of the headliners, and I kind of started laughing. I'm like, that's a show that is I want to see, but it's I want to see just for the craziness that's going to ensue, not for the music, just for the crowd, and just be in that mosh pit. And of course, the person that's going on stage right before him, for some odd reason, but it makes total sense, is Snoop Dogg.
Oh boy, Snoop Dogg. Limp Bizkit actually has a song with Snoop Dogg called Red Light, Green Light on their Results May Vary album. It wasn't really a great song, but it was a good idea. But I think one of the best Limp Bizkit songs is Ready to Go with Lil Wayne. It's so fucking good. Maybe one day we'll get the new Limp Bizkit album. I mean, we got a new Tool album. Rage Against the Machine came back, and My Chemical Romance came back. We still can't get System of a Down to do anything anymore, or Mudvayne, or fucking who else I killed for an album by, but specifically Mudvayne and System of a Down are my two big ones, and then obviously Rage Against the Machine would be unbelievable to get something from. Just one song, just a song, please.
Just a new song. We'll see what happens though, because I mean, with their tour this year, they constantly are adding second dates at the, almost every single venue that they're going to.
Yeah, and I had no idea they had this kind of demand. I mean, they're doing 5 nights at Madison Square Garden, which is insane. I'm going to 2 of them, and I thought they were going to do 7,000, not over 100,000, which is more than Drake does at the Garden, which is really astonishing to me for a band that has played the East Coast twice since 1999. That they're pulling 100K at the world's most famous arena is pretty fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty similar with My Chemical Romance too, because a lot of they're just showing up all of a sudden. It's their venues, the places they're going, they're selling out in minutes. I think the only one place they haven't sold out yet is in Chicago because they're playing at Riot Fest, and everyone's waiting for the lineup to come out to see if they want to have to buy the 3-day passes or if they're going to be able to get by with just the 1 day that My Chem is there. And I'm in that crowd because I'm just waiting for the live. I'm like, okay, do I have to get the 3-day or should I just stick with the 1?
Yeah, I mean, and My Chem's from New Jersey, and their show at Prudential Center sold out within minutes, and they put another date, and that sold out within minutes. So,
they could probably put a show there for that whole entire week, one show a night for a whole week, and they would, if they put them all out at the same time, they would sell it in 15 minutes flat total.
I mean, they couldn't do a Billy Joel thing at the Garden where they're doing once a month, but I thought they could do probably once every quarter. They could definitely do it. My Chem, they're so big here. Especially with the emo night Brooklyn things, anytime they play in this area, people go nuts because they're from New Jersey and they're probably the biggest modern band from New Jersey. It's we have My Chem, we have Bon Jovi, we have Springsteen, we have El Nino, Overkill, 40 Below Summer, Generation Underground from New Jersey too, I may add. But that's kind of where it stops. There's not too many bands after that, so.
It's still pretty good company for you guys to be in too. I mean, fuck, you probably got a band that basically whenever I look at My Chemical Romance, they're a band that created a song that would be like the Bohemian Rhapsody for our generation with Welcome to the Black Parade.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Nothing's gonna even touch that. And the fact of the matter is when they came back, when they did that first show out in California at the end of 2019, I mean, I think that show sold out in 30 seconds or something like that. I mean, it was quick.
I know the Ghosts Inside, who were never that big until the bus accident. They're playing in Worcester, Massachusetts, which is 3.5 hours from where we're at, and I bought a ticket to go just because I saw them before the bus accident, but it's such a cliche thing. It's It's their first time on the East Coast in almost 4.5 years. Like, I gotta go see this. And like, I don't even think that show's sold out, but it holds like 5,000 outside at the Palladium. So I feel like it's gonna sell out, but like, it's hard to say. But like, and it's got to be tough coming out from a brutal bus accident and the drummer losing his right leg too.
Yeah, because that's a little bit different than like what I mean, it's kind of similar, but a little bit different than what like Def Leppard went through when their drummer lost his arm. But I mean, they basically figured it out and it works. But I mean, I've done that too, where it's like there's bands that have played at places like, well, basically like Minneapolis is the big one for me, where it's like I have to travel a considerable distance. I'll still go down to Chicago for a good amount of shows, but it's only an hour and a half drive for me at the most. But like I've like gone to Minneapolis for what show did I go to from last year? Beartooth, I Prevail, and A Day to Remember, and they sold out an 8,000 person venue.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that in New York at Terminal 5. And it was it was a 3,000 cap room. Let's put it this way, it should not have been in that kind of room. It was, you couldn't even move. It was ridiculous. So, A Day to Remember always sells out this area, but they never play here enough. But they're coming around with Slipknot, which is going to be insane, with Slipknot, A Day to Remember, and Under Oath. But of course, Code Orange is not on our date, which just drives me nuts. I don't understand why Code Orange is not playing the date that I'm going to, but
the thing that pissed me off the most about that whole entire thing is the closest place they're coming to me is Michigan. And I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Slipknot always comes around too. But like, the thing with Slipknot, it's like you got to go when they come around because it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they all get along very well nowadays, which is good because for a while, I mean, they hated each other for so long. But like, it's nice they all get along nowadays. I think having new members kind of helps that too. But like, and then like today I got announced that Corey and Clown's kids are in a band together having their first show in Iowa. Like how crazy that we have the second generation of Slipknot already out there, and this band's only been around since 1995.
And while Slipknot is still going and going strong to the point where they can have their own fucking festival and still run through everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I went out I actually saw Knotfest in California. It was literally, so we formed the band on Thursday, October 23rd, 2014. I flew out to LA the next day to go to Knotfest. And I mean, just insane. It was Slipknot's first 2 days back without Joey ever. And they're up there 2 nights headline with 2 different set lists. Slipknot, Hatebreed, Five Finger, Tech Nine, Danzig, Whitechapel, Hell Yeah, King 810. I think Die Hard's Murder was on it. Prong, Miss May I, Upon a Burning Body, The Butcher Babies, Atreyu.
Oh my God.
It was loaded. It was of Mice and Men during their heyday. Devil Driver. It was Kill Switch. It was unbelievable how loaded it was both days.
Yeah,
so,
that would have been Kill Switch like right after Jesse Leach got back too.
Yeah, and that was like, I mean, Kill Switch was always good, but that was like really, really good Kill Switch. And that was like peak of Mice and Men when Austin was up there still, which was so much different than Aaron Paul. No disrespect to Aaron Paul, but Austin's a whole other animal up there when he was at least in his heyday.
Oh, yeah, totally agree with you on that one. But my God, that is an insane set. And it always sucks, like, of course, like, you want to see a band, also like, oh shit, they're on, tour with these bands. I get to go see them. And they're not, the one show they're not going to be at is the one that's near me. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Always happens. I'm looking for the new Code Orange album that's coming out on the 13th. Really excited for that one.
Is it this month?
Yeah.
Code Orange album?
Yeah, it's March 13th.
I can't believe that Forever's been out for 3 full years. Holy shit. Wow. Wow, I'm getting old. Holy crap. That came out when I was in high school still. Holy shit. Wow. That was 2017. And I didn't even get into Code Orange first. I kind of was just like, yeah, whatever. Then I saw Code Orange album for Hatebreed, and when I watched it live, I was like, now I get it. I'm like, now I fully get this shit. And now they got Jesse fronting the band, which is insane. I never thought that would ever happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of things already for that album coming out on the 13th. A lot of people that have, maybe gotten to like the early sneak peek on it or doing the early reviews on it. I've seen a lot of people really heavy on it, like really big into it. So curious to see how that's going to turn out. And well, I mean, I'm always curious with this stuff too, because it's like, holy shit, this is going to be fun.
Exactly.
All right, so getting back to Generation Underground, because we did go off on a little bit of a tangent with, all of our fun concert stories, talking about music as well, which of course I love. But again, this is the Generation Underground interview podcast, so want to make sure we get some stuff for you guys. So we've kind of already gone through stuff. We've already talked a little bit about 2020 with the fact they released a new EP on 4/20/2020. Wow, that's a lot of 20s.
I know. A lot of fucking 20s.
But it's always fun to have something like that. But what I'm trying to go with is, I know you guys are playing with Attila in April. You guys said that you're playing out at the Whiskey A Go-Go in June. You guys are playing with Escape the Fate again in August. What else does 2020 hold for Generation Underground?
Well, we have a part 2 to the EP because it's a full length album, but since people have very short attention spans, we went ahead and just split it into 2, so it made more sense. So the second one's going to come out in November on Friday the 13th, so November 13th, 20 will be the other 5 songs of the album. And then we're looking to expand to more states. So far, we've played in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, New York. I don't know if I said that or not. And then it'll be California. And then we're very close to landing Connecticut, Las Vegas, Arizona, hopefully Maryland. And then, obviously Maine, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin. We will go exactly. We'll go wherever they send us. Like, there's been people like you gotta come to Hawaii. I was like, who the fuck is gonna pay for us to go to Hawaii? That's a lot of Hawaiian money. So be awesome too, though.
Alrighty, and now I gotta ask you another question too on that, because there have been a good number of bands that I have talked to already on the Chord Progression podcast. A couple from Florida, one called the Monks and Giants, one called GFM or Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh. They played over in Germany as well. Do you guys have any plans or aspirations to play over in Europe, where kind of the hard rock, metalcore scene is between
heavy? Germany's big into us. Italy, France, England's very big into this band. I'd say our biggest following outside of the States here is probably Colombia's got a very heavy following for us, which is just fucking out there.
Whoa.
Australia. We have people that listen to the band in South Korea, which is insane. And then Japan and China. And then the one place that me and him would die to go toward is Mother Russia. We would love to go to Russia.
Yeah.
Not in the dead of winter, obviously, but I would love to tour Russia. That continent is fucking huge. But I'd probably put Russia 2 on my bucket list, but the number 1 place I want to go towards outside of America is Australia. Even though there's not much of Australia left anymore, I still want to go to Australia.
Well, I mean, in Australia, especially with bands that are coming out of there as well and starting to gain some prominence, I mean, there's definitely going to be a huge scene in Australia coming up the next couple of years, especially seeing what Polaris did on their new album. Holy shit.
I know.
It just...
there's Parkway Drive from Australia, Airborne, AC/DC, Thy Art's from Australia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thy Art, In Heart's Wake, Polaris. I'm missing somebody. I can't remember who else from Australia.
Yeah, I know we're missing somebody in there, but I mean, we kind of hit a bunch of the major players there as well. But seeing some of the other videos from other bands that have played down in Australia too, I mean, it looks like a European show, and of course, European shows they're on a whole different level too. And I can't wait to experience some of those come up September this year, because I'll be over there for a couple of those just for for fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to attend Rock and Ring at one point. I definitely want to go to Down. Yeah. Those things look insanity out there. So our producers had the pleasure of playing Rock and Rio, Rock and Ring. I think Penny's played Download, but it's crazy. Our producer, you ever heard of Chris Penny? He used to be in Dillinger Escape Plan and he produced the new EP, and he produced our first album. And he played drums on it as well and bass. So But he'll like tell a story. He's like, you want to hear a story, man? About when I went on tour with System of a Down during Toxics, we're like toxicity. And then he'll be like, yeah, you know, I got to watch Pantera at their last ever show, side stage in Japan. We're like, Pantera. And he'll be like, yeah, I played Guns N' Roses' first ever show back with Axl and Duff. I was like, huh? And then he's just like, yeah, bro. And like, you know, I got a gold plaque for one of our Coheed DVDs. I played Coachella. We're like, Coachella? I was like, that's even an option? Like, it's pretty fucking crazy. So,
but that's one thing that, I mean, taken from this conversation too, one thing that you guys really have is a connection to a lot of people in the industry that can really help push you guys into these places. Not only with the people that you've worked with and creating your albums, or working with, you know, your agents and your managers, but working with like some of these other bands as well that are really getting behind your music.
Right.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps to have like some good allies out there. So definitely helps to, you know, it's a collective scene. Like, you know, like we're all in this together. So we just got to, you know, I feel like the biggest thing is like there's not enough bands waving the flag for like the underground scene. Like there is a very good underground scene of heavy music. It's just you need more bands that kind of lead the way. And there's not many bands other than like A Day to Remember or Code Orange that are from like the underground that are really moving the needle. Because like, I mean, you could throw Knocked Loose in there because Knocked Loose done great things for the hardcore scene, but like very few bands are willing to dip back into like Slipknot's a great example. Like they bring out Motionless in White, of Mice and Men, Gojira. Like they're willing, you know, Code Orange. Like they're willing to go into the underground and pull the underground further into the mainstream. Because like it sucks, like compared to like rap, or the rap, you know, Travis Scott, Drake, Migos, Future, Juice WRLD when he was here, and like company like that, like they're headlining these major festivals, but like rock wise, like the great new acts, they can't pull in anybody. It's ridiculous. It's sad.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was really concerned about too, especially when I made a whole video about this with the Danny Wimmer Presents festivals for 2020, because they're having Metallica headline 2 nights on each of their 5 festivals. And I'm like, I mean, I know it's going to bring in the people, but you're really limiting the band's like potential to, you know, headline these shows and really gain a massive following and show that rock and metal has this kind of basically has this huge base behind it. And then taking a look at the bands that they were going to have, you know, as their in between headliners, because I think it was for Welcome to Rockville and for not for Aftershock. I forgot what the other one, Epicenter. It's Disturbed was going to be the headliner in between. And don't get me wrong, Disturbed's one of my favorite bands of all time. But I kept looking like, okay, can we maybe need a younger band in there? Then all of a sudden for Sonic Temple, they were going to have Slipknot as the headliner on Saturday. And then for Aftershock out in California, I saw it was going to be My Chemical Romance. So I thought, okay, that makes sense because, you know, you got My Chem come back. Everyone's going to show up for that one. Louder Than Life, they still have to set out the lineup. But now that Metallica has pulled out of Sonic Temple and Louder Than Life for James Hetfield's recuperation from addiction, they've refilled Sonic Temple's headliners for Friday being the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Sunday being Tool.
I mean, they're not bad choices, obviously, but like, but they're both established acts, and you got like, there's just not that many headliners. It's like Korn, Disturbed. I guess you can put Five Finger up there, Slipknot, Peppers, Tool, Metallica, kind of Slayer, Ozzy/Sabbath. It's not that long of a list. That's the problem. Like, it's really what the problem is.
Yeah, and it's like one band I wanted to see take one of those headlining spots was A Day to Remember, just due to the fact that the type of crowd they're able to pull in.
They have one of the most diverse audiences you will ever see. They have a little bit of everything. I mean, they did so much fucking Marshmello. I mean, come on. Like,
yeah.
Like, who gets the opportunity to do a song with Marshmello? And then they got songs that are just brutally heavy too, like Life Lessons Learned the Hard Way and Sticks and Bricks. Like,
oh yeah,
like it's this so diverse, but it works so well. It's like Jamie Joss from Havery puts it this way: he's like, it's pop metal. It's like really poppy, catchy choruses with absolutely metal shit right in between. And like they got pop punk and they got metalcore, but it's like a perfect fusion of both of them together.
Yeah, especially on the Homesick album. I mean, this is the fusion they went with all the metalcore and the pop punk on songs like I Made of Wax Layer, What About You, or Welcome to the Family. That one's an underrated song to all hell.
Oh yeah, the New Jersey Legion of Tea, or is it Ice Tea or just Legion of Tea?
I think it's just Legion of Tea.
Okay, and then he had oh my god, the fuck is that song? What's the song that Vitruvi always played live? You Won't Make It Out Alive. It's like the breakdown. It's
Mr. Highway's thing.
Yeah, Mr. Highway is going to the like getting to the end or something like that. Just because you start breakdowns up to disrespect your surroundings, and everyone just goes ballistic. I mean, when I saw that live, that was the one where everyone was just waiting for it. And just like, okay, we're just waiting for Jimmy to say it. Just say it. Just say it. When it happened, all of a sudden, you just see the crowd just destroy each other.
Or in Second Sucks, when he just yells, "Get the fuck over it!" Like, it's like, come on, wait, get the fuck over it. Oh, it hits so hard.
Or even like on one of their newer Alpha Bad Vibration albums with Paranoid, when he's also like, I am your breaking point. It's just like, okay, they're still doing this shit. This is great.
Or like you have Wage War when they drop Stitch and they all yell, "Pick it up!" Like, oh my god, that thing crushes so hard live. Wage War is one of the best like pound for pound live bands out there. They're so fucking tight.
That's another band I still have yet to see, even though like with their album last year, I did think I was disappointed with it, but it wasn't because it was a bad album. It was because the singles that they released on their last album were so good. And then I thought the rest of the album just didn't compare to what they released on the singles. So I was like, this is not like what I was expecting, but it's still a good ass album.
I mean, it's not that it won't beat Blueprints for me. It's just Blueprints has been my favorite from them. And then Deadweight's very good too. And the new one's good. It's just like, it gets stale after me. Like, it's the same kind of style of song. And I'm not a big fan of the guitar tones. They kind of get like lost in the shuffle there. And like, there's some good songs. Like some of the singles are good, but some of them just like, it's the same damn hook every time. There's nothing to it really. And it's just boring. And they're a better band than they really are.
If you really want to listen to a band with an album that doesn't get stale throughout the whole entire thing, really, I mean, if you have a chance to listen to the Polaris album, what is it called? It's called The Death of Me. I mean, I think it's like a 10-song album where it's just like, it won't get stale on you. Trust me.
I definitely will check that out then. Whatever like their lead single was, I heard that and I watched the video for that, but I didn't hear the rest of it yet.
Their lead single was either Hypermania or Masochist. It was one of the two.
I think Masochist was the one I listened to. I don't remember. Whatever like the blue artwork is, like that was the album I heard, whatever the lead single was on that.
Yeah, I was like, if you're the song that I really connect with that now was song number 7 on the album. It's called Above My Head. It's like that classic metalcore style song where it's gonna be just brutally hard throughout the whole entire thing, and then for the chorus they're gonna go with clean vocals that are just gonna hit you perfect. So that's kind of where I took it on that one. But going back to Generation Underground, because I know we talked about playing with Escape the Fate, but we really did. The one that really kind of stuck out to me was the fact you guys are playing with Attila. And I believe it's on April 19th, the day before that EP comes out. Is that correct?
Yeah, we kind of we got offered the show, and we we weren't sure when the album was going to come out yet. And like we've always had the 4/20/20 date in mind because it's the end of the Y song. We've always had that in mind. So we always knew we were going to drop something that day. We're just trying to figure out the right thing. And like I know traditional releases are on Fridays, not Mondays, but it's like, who the fuck cares really? It doesn't really matter. Like we're probably not going to debut on the Billboard 200, so first week sales don't really matter that much to us. But like the fact that we can share the stage the day before and promote the album in front of hundreds of people with Attila, Xavier Wolf, Volumes, Spite, and then our friends in Vitruvia and all these other bands and rappers are on the bill. Like you couldn't have picked a better day to kind of go ahead, because we're going to have copies of the album available that day. Can't pick a better day to be like, our new album drops tomorrow. Here's a copy right now. So here's 3 free copies to whoever fucking breaks someone's jaw in the pit right now. Like, come on, show me what you got, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that'd be perfect for that too. I mean, I totally forgot that Volumes was on that list too. Holy shit.
Yeah, and then Volumes just brought back Michael, and then I can't believe that that Diego just died. Like that's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were posting about that too when that happened, because that was right at the end of January, I think that happened.
Yeah, literally had just left the band, and then he died. It was just like, what the hell? Like it was just so out of nowhere. So, because like I was talking with the bass player, I know his name starts with an R. I was talking with him back in October when he was playing bass with Mice and Men, and he's just like, yeah, dude, like Michael Barr's coming back. I was like, what do you mean Michael Barr's coming back? I was like, okay. And then I was like, all right, so that means either Mike's gone or Gus is gone. And then you started hearing the rumors in summer. It's like, Gus is fired from Volumes. And everyone's like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And I was like, well, I already know who it's going to be. I'm like, it's Michael. And we're just like, it better be fucking Michael. And they dropped Holy Water. People were like, oh my God, Volumes is back. I was like, yes, Michael back in Volumes.
And you're just sitting there like, I already knew.
I know. I wish you could get fucking Michael back in Issues. That's what I would really kill for. That band is not the same without Michael Bon or however you say his name correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I would try and say it, but I'm just going to fuck it up. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Michael Bon, but I know it's Bohn. I know that's how it's spelled. So yeah, they're another band that like their first albums are unbelievable. It's not that their new album's not good. It's just not the same without Michael. Like it's just Michael had a certain kind of style to him, and then just you can't go from two vocals to one. It just doesn't work the same. It really doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten from the fans as well too that I've talked to, especially when that album came out back in October, where they were talking about it's like, yeah, you know, it's good, but it's just not the same. And I definitely did feel that as well after, you know, because I really didn't listen to the band at all, but someone really wanted me to do an album review on it. So I said, okay, I'll do it. Plus I needed a YouTube video for that week anyway. So I went through the discography. I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden I listened to it and I'm like, it's different than what they used to do, but you know, it's not bad.
No, it's not bad. But like, you know, the first Issues is where my heart will always be. And it's not like I can't like replicate them, make it better. They just don't seem that interested in just doing metal for it. They're kind of more just doing like R&B core at this point, which is okay, but like they're not really that big of a band to kind of just shift their whole direction of music so quickly either. They're really not.
I mean, nothing wrong with trying something completely new, especially when you got different members in the band as well. However, the one thing I always think about that too is like if you're going to completely like change direction on something, one thing to always remember is what your core sound is and what you really want your sound to be like. Because then it's going to be a much easier transition to go from, you know, maybe you were going with something that was completely like insanely heavy. So all of a sudden your next record, it's like, oh, I want to try and do something that's a little bit of like a lighter style record. But all of a sudden it's like, you know, you still keeping, you know, like for like Generation Underground, it's like, say you try and do something a little bit of a lighter style, but you still keep that Generation Underground bite to it. Then fans are easily going to still resonate well with it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to do what Linkin Park did from Hybrid Theory to Meteora to just go to Minutes to Midnight, where they just went, you know what, we're going to change everything that worked. And not many bands can get away with that. They were very lucky that they were able to like broaden their audience. Linkin Park, I respect that decision a lot, but like Minutes to Midnight to me, compared to the first two, it's not even close. Meteora and Hybrid Theory, they're two of my favorite records of all time, especially production wise. And Meteora is just so pure and perfect. It's unbelievable.
Very true. Another band that's kind of in that same realm where it's kind of, where it's like going from a different, like one album to another, all of a sudden just like, whoa, you really change it up, is easily Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh my God, I'm going to be sorry about that band. And like, I got into them right after, like towards the tail end of Sempiternal, I got into them. So like, I heard like that spirit. I was like, all right, it's pretty cool. And I've always known they've been a heavy band. And like, I will never forget hearing the memes on Vine of like, well, that was slave, because slave has for the week. And I was like, who the fuck is this stupid band? And this like chapel with the mouth of hell is open wide to night. And I was like, who is that? And then I found it was Whitechapel, Let Me Burn, and it was Bring Me the Horizon, Diamonds on Forever. And like, you know, it's not that I don't like New Bring Me the Horizon. It just, and I don't care about the screaming part. It doesn't matter to me. It's the lack of guitars and rock is what I miss in Bring Me the Horizon. And like, if they can make more tunes like Wonderful Life or Sugar, Money, Ice and Tea or Heavy Metal, like I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the fact is, it's just. And they made that brand new song called Ludens for that video game. Like that was really cool too. But
yeah,
like,
I do agree with that.
It's missing like guitars and drums, like I think they kind of accepted after Sepultura they couldn't really beat that metalcore wise. So that's like one of the best metalcore albums of all time. Sepultura, not even close.
Oh, easily. But because I remember when Amo dropped, I was like, okay, like I just completely just didn't care for it at all. I mean, I kept kind of going after it. I did look into basically like a lot of the reasons like why Bring Me the Horizon kind of shifting towards that. And again, it makes a lot of sense of why they're doing it.
It does.
But it's just in the end, it's just like, man, I still wish they had that bite to them.
I know. And like I listened back to like Pray for Plagues or Traitors Don't Play Hangman and Tell Slater Not to Wash His Dick. And I'm just like, God, I miss this band. And Diamonds Aren't Forever, Chelsea Smile. How about fucking Alligator Blood or Anthem or just, oh my God.
Or just go like with probably one of their most famous was Shadow Moses as well.
Oh my God, Shadow Moses, House of Wolves, Can You Feel My Heart, Sleepwalking, and then Go to Hell for Heaven's Sake. Like I heard that album so many times I actually had to delete it off my phone because I couldn't take hearing. I'm like, I've heard it so many fucking times. Get it away from me. Get it away.
I'm kind of afraid that's going to end up happening with me with the Silver Screen with Ice Nine Kills. So I think I've listened to a good chunk of that album every day for the past like 4 months.
I always forget the thing's only been out for like 15 months. It's not been out for that long.
Yeah, because it dropped in October of 18.
Yeah, either like October or November. I remember seeing them on that tour. They were on tour with Atreyu, Atreyu, Memphis Mayfire, Ice Nine, and some other band. And then I saw them last year. They played Falling in Reverse from Ashes to New Year's Day. And both shows, they blew every single band out of the water. Not even close. It's just the production and the songs. And you cannot discredit that fucking band, especially Spencer's vision for the videos. Their videos are better than anyone's videos. They're not even close. Just how they all tie into each other. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's ever done a story trilogy has been Slayer did that with Repentless, and they did Pride and Prejudice, and they did other songs. They had like those videos kind of went into each other, but like Ice Nine Kills has got everybody beat by a mile, not even close.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to go see them when they're doing the I Prevail, Papa Roach, and Five Finger Death Punch tour coming up in the next starting like in the next like couple weeks or so. Mm-hmm. The problem is it's like on a Wednesday or something in Chicago, and I'm very busy like the weekend before, the weekend after. So money wise, it might not be the best thing to pull off. And it's like, well, I know if they're headlining, if they're opening like the opening act, it's like they're probably gonna play like only like 6 songs. I know exactly what 6 songs they'll play. They'll just stick off of the silver screen for those as well. But taking a look at what they've done, even with people that send me the videos off of what they're doing now in Europe with Papa Roach and Hollywood Undead, just some of the production they put in just for this smaller set, it's like, holy shit. It's the exact same that they put in for the 19-song set that I got to see them perform, and it was just like, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of one thing I've always found amazing too, even with like some of the smaller bands I've kind of gotten to know as well. And I can't wait to see how this plays out too, because this is starting the next couple of weeks for me as well, where with a lot of the bands that like some of these bands like I really haven't got a chance to listen to, or it's like, oh, maybe they're like opening up a show for someone I really like and I get to see them. It's like, holy shit, why'd I sleep on these guys? This is fucking great. And then all of a sudden I ended up falling in love with the band just because I got to see them play live and I got to feel that energy from that live show. Now with some of the bands I've been working with as well, bands we've had on the podcast as well, over the next couple of months, I get to start seeing a couple of them actually play live. And I'm like, am I going to get that same feeling? Because I really hope I do.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
I mean, it's got to be one thing too with you guys as well as like, you're playing these shows and you're able to see just the way the crowd reacts as well to everything you guys do. And it's just something that like, of course you all have to feed off of that energy just from not only from you to the crowd, but from the crowd to you as well.
Yeah. And like, we know like, at this point, like how to kind of work the crowd and stuff. Because like, you can't demand a wall of death at emo night. We did like an emo night with Craig Owens. I forget what band Craig Owens is from, but like we did an emo night. Like you can't demand a wall of death. Like it may happen, but like you can't demand. Like we did a show But a year and a half ago, it was me and then our bass player who was playing guitar at the time, Brandon Ryan, and we did a show. And it was just, we walk into this place called Flemington DIY in New Jersey, and we walk in. Our expectations are, super low. It's a, DIY kind of club. It's at like a little like music foundation. We're like, all right, whatever. It's gonna be whatever. So we get in there. First band's super mellow. We're just like, all right, so it means we play a super mellow set. So we go out there. We open up one step closer from Linkin Park. So we get people kind of like into it. They play our song Nightmare Never Ending, and after that, started to notice they're getting a little bit more like rowdy, and we're just like, all right, fuck it. So they play Last Resort from Papa Roach. They go fucking ballistic. They start moshing. We're like, okay, I see how this is going. So they played Bodies from Drowning Pool, and I went out in the crowd and I moshed with them. They went fucking ape shit. And then we ended with our song Slaves of the System, and we just split the whole room down the middle and did a wall of death. And we're like, this is a fucking acoustic show and there's a wall of death. Like, you just can't predict this shit. You really can't.
You can't, but it's just something that you got to feed off the energy of the crowd as well, because if you do that, you're going to create these live shows that are just absolutely insane and memorable as all hell. Like, who's going to forget going to an acoustic show and doing a wall of death?
Nobody is. And like, we've learned, like, especially with the shows that like don't work sometimes, it's like, okay, like, let's just get the fuck off the stage quicker. Like, let's just like hey, how you doing? And just hear crickets. It's like, okay, you know what? Maybe let's skip that one song and we'll just keep rolling with it and just shut the fuck up and keep rolling, because sometimes they're just not into it. And just, you can't predict the stuff, but you gotta roll with the punches. We broke in every piece of gear up there: guitar, vocals, mics, in-ears, drums, cymbals. There was even a show where our drummer forgot his drumsticks at home.
How
do you do that?
You want to tell Kevin that story?
Yeah, fucking we had to get wooden dowels at fucking Walmart because our drummer didn't want to bring them. Didn't want
to bring them. He just forgot about them.
Completely forgot them.
So he used he used 2 wooden blocks, and then we found a drumstick backstage. It was at a rap show, so there's gonna be no other drummer there. He's got 1 wooden block and a drumstick, and that's how we played the show. And we ended up having one of our best shows probably ever as a band that night too, ironically. So,
oh my God, that
stuff. You really can't.
You can't predict this stuff, but some of the, like, the fact of the matter is you have these like crazy stories to kind of fall back on as well. It's like, okay, we've done this crazy kind of stuff. We know how to deal with this, and it just teaches you how to roll with the punches as well and really create the show for the fans on the fly.
Oh, absolutely. Like the stories we have, like, there's so many good ones and there's so many horror stories too, but like, the good stories are just people are like, really? I'm like, yeah, like, we've had some fucking wild stories of people moshing, stage diving. Like we played with Body Snatcher back in October with Slaughter to Prevail, and there was a brawl during Body Snatcher that turned into a bloodbath, literally. Just like a 6-person. Were you watching that on the side of the stage?
No.
Okay, we were watching like side of the stage is me and our bass player and our drummer at the time, Billy and Eric, and we're just watching it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm watching where the curtain is. I'm like, why is the curtain moving? And then I look over and like, yeah. And then I'm like, uh-oh. And it just starts swinging, and the singer behind me was like, yeah, go get him. He's wearing fucking Crocs up there like a fucking Floridian, of course. A guy in a hardcore deathcore band wearing Crocs. And shit out of each other, and they're bleeding all over the fucking floor, and I'm like, what is going on?
Oh my God, that is fucking hysterical.
Body Snatcher, no joke live, no fucking joke at all.
Just the fact that there's a guy, I mean, I don't know if that's like totally not metal or like the most metal thing I ever heard of. Just going to a show and wearing Crocs just for the shit of it.
And they're selling shirts that says fuck you from Florida. Such a Florida thing. Fuck you from Florida.
Oh my God.
And Florida's got a good scene of music. You got Dave Members from Florida, Wage Wars from Florida,
Under Oath,
Limp Bizkit's from Florida, Under Oath, Trivium, Black Tide, Creed's from Tallahassee. Attila's based out of Orlando nowadays. So like this is a pretty good Non-Point, Manson. Like you got, there's some good bands in Florida.
Florida's got an insane scene that's just not many people know about because of just the way that Florida is with everything else.
Yeah, I mean, who would think that death metal would hail from Tampa, Florida, and that like Cannibal Corpse be from Florida? Like, who would ever think that? You didn't be from like Buffalo, but I think they're originally from Buffalo, but they got like the real big start in Tampa. It's like death metal in Florida. It's like, okay, I guess it will work.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it works, it works. That's pretty much the key that you got to be going with. So if it works, just roll with it. And that seems like what you guys are doing as well when it comes to just, playing those live shows. Just, if the crowd's into it, just roll with it. If the crowd's not into it, maybe try a couple of things and just try and make the best show possible for the crowd that you're at. And then when it comes to your music as well, it's just, if you got to pump up the crowd by playing a cover that they're going to know and they're able to kind of get into, do it. If they're really into your stuff, just go nuts with it and just go all out with it.
Yeah, you got to kind of, it's a lot of trial and error on the fly. It's like, all right, you got 40 seconds to make up your mind of like what's going to be the next song. It's like, you better not fuck it up if they got a lot of energy, because you got to play what the crowd wants to hear. So even though it's going to be what we like too, but it's more of like, we're not shit without our fans. It's a quote from Mitch Lucker, and it's 100% true, because we're nothing without our fans. We're just people playing music in front of ourselves when we don't have fans. So the reason why we're here doing this interview right now is because we have fans in South Korea and Chile.
And hopefully we get a chance to get the fans from South Korea and Chile and Colombia and Germany and Australia and here in the U.S., of course, as well, to, listen to this and just see all the crazy shit you guys have done, all the crazy things that you've experienced over the past, like 5+ years of Generation Underground.
Yeah, and hopefully one day, what's the arena called where the Bucks play in Milwaukee? Is it the Bradley Center or is it BMO?
That's the old one. They started playing at their new arena called the Pfizer Forum. Their first season there was last season. Bradley Center was around where they played for the past 35 years before that. So,
okay. Yeah, well, our goal is to headline the Forum one day in Milwaukee. Let's make that happen, Josh. Let's make it happen. So.
If you guys make it happen, I can guarantee you one thing. There will be a spot on the floor where there will be a mosh pit. I'll be fucking in it. I don't care how old I am. I don't care what it is. I'm going to be fucking in it somehow.
And we'll make sure we'll use this as kind of a little interlude kind of thing of this is the interview we did in 2020. We're here in 2028. We're headlining this arena, and this is how we got our connection to Milwaukee through Kevin. It's here we go. Here's a little interview of, we predicted it in 2020 in March, and it happened 8 years later. Oh my God. Yeah, I know, right?
And then you guys are going nuts, and all of a sudden it's okay, that pit's going off. Wait, who the fuck is that in there? It's there's me. Hey guys. As there's blood run down my face. So just hey guys, how's it going? I would end up doing something stupid like that just because I think it'd be funny. Just all of a sudden hey.
It's me. It's Kevin from the podcast. I remember Kevin from the podcast from Milwaukee.
Hopefully by that time too, this podcast hopefully reaching millions upon millions. I should be The Rock and be hopefully it's reaching millions and millions of people. But that's the goal.
We'll get to that Joe Rogan kind of level. Joe Rogan, Barstool, kind of way up there with the world. No Jumper with Adam 22. Fucking love that podcast.
Shout out No Jumper.
Or the Burt cast with Burt Kreischer or Bill Burr's podcast. Most because I just listen to the funny shit because I love those guys. They're funny. They're just hilarious and they make me laugh every time I'm at work.
Yeah, you can always use a good laugh. So you can listen to Why from Generation Underground. It's that and Greedy Bitch are the really two unserious songs on the first album. But there's a new song on the new album called Meth Man. It's written about a sound guy we had in Atlantic City that was literally on meth, and he was just sweating like he came out of a swimming pool, and just his girlfriend was there, also methed out. She got one flip flop on. They're screaming at each other. He's on the drum kit. It was just, oh my God, what a headache of a night. What an interesting night. And the club we played at called the Boneyard ended up shutting down a mere 3 weeks after we played it.
And oh my God.
Yeah.
That is just some insanity that, of course, I hope it's really shows through on that new album as well. The new EP with that song as well. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, no, we'll send you an advance copy. We're getting them actually printed up this week. So we should have physical copies in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll send you one before it comes out. So we're looking forward to it. It's been a long time. We've had this album finished since last June. It's just been trying to figure out when it's gonna come out, and then management kind of came in and was just like, oh, better wait to drop the fucking album. And then they went, oh, you know what? Like, we're not a big fan. I was just like, all right, goodbye. I'm like, we're gonna put this out on our own. They're like, what? I'm like, yes, we're going to put the album out on our own, and you just have to deal with it. I don't care. So that's the luxury you have of not being signed, is we don't owe anybody a fucking answer. We can do what we want when we want. So
just going completely rogue with it, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, I would. Because we've been on for like, almost 2 hours at this point, and
it's been a good fucking.
It's been a good. I'll say this though. Please send me that copy early so that not only can I listen to it, but when on the day it comes out on that Monday on 4/20/20, we can set it up as for one of the songs to be the song of the day for that day, so that kind of tie everything in together nicely and be like, hey, check out motherfucking Generation Underground with this shit, because you heard them on the podcast last month. This month, boom. Song of the Day feature with their brand new shit.
Exactly. We're coming with a vengeance, and we're not stopping anytime soon.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, Mike, Josh, want to thank you guys for being on the podcast. This was a fucking blast. I always say it's a fucking blast, but that's because all of these have been just absolutely fucking blast talking to you guys. So absolutely love it. And hopefully at some point in 2020, maybe if the stars align, get a chance to see you guys live. If not, definitely make sure that 2021 is going to be a time I can see Generation Underground.
Oh yeah, it'll happen.
Eagles Ballroom in Milwaukee. Let's make this happen.
Let's fucking do it.
In Milwaukee, we'll make it work one step at a time.
One step at a time, but you guys are definitely on your way there. So with that, thanks guys, and can't wait to hear that new EP from you guys in April.
Neither can wait. Just like the fucking mouse pads that we eventually will make more copies of.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, guys. This is fantastic. I'll send you on your merry way, and thanks for stopping by. Well, friends, that was my interview with Generation Underground with Mike and Josh from the band. And guys, I'm really excited to see what this band does, because they're playing with these bands that they absolutely love. These bands that they love absolutely love their sound. They're really starting to get a foothold in a lot of this stuff. And I mean, they could easily pop off at any given moment. And hopefully 2020 is the year they really begin to pop off. And yes, you heard the challenge at the end of it, where they could be easily playing at the Pfizer Forum at some point and headlining it, hopefully. And yes, I will definitely be in the mosh pit for that. Even at, how old will I be in 2028? 34? Yeah, I can still definitely mosh. I'll be mosh until I'm fucking 70. Are you fucking kidding me? Probably till I'll try in my 70s. If I get knocked down, it's like, oh, pick me back up, Sonny. Just having fun with it, because I love to do this kind of stuff. That's just what I like to do. So hell yeah. As for that, you know what, guys? This is one of my favorite podcasts up to this point. Again, I'm going to say this, though. I always tell these guys that this is an absolute blast, and girls as well, because we've had GFM on. I've always told them it's an absolute blast to do these podcasts. And you want to know why I always say it's an absolute blast to do these podcasts? Because it is an absolute blast to do these podcasts. I love doing them. I love doing these interviews, and we're not going to stop. So until next time, because next week we have a real big surprise for you guys. This is Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2000 a Day Chord Progression Podcast, and you guys know how I end all of these podcast episodes with a big hearty see